Boys, boys, boys. TSK all day, baby. The Spokane Kid back at it once again. Glad to see you guys. So I just wanted to show you a couple of the vintage tees I've been collecting. With vintage tees, the whole thing is there's so many cool ones out there that if I bought all the ones that I just liked in general, I would have 1,000 of them and I'd be completely broke and have to move away because I can't afford rent. And so what I've been doing is I try to only buy vintage tees that will actually have like a personal significance to something that I'm into, and because they're vintage, it'll have to date back to something from my childhood probably, and something that I had like an actual personal relationship with. A good example of that would actually be the t-shirt I'm wearing. Let me take this off so I can show you guys. Alright, so this is a Les Mis t-shirt from the 80s. Has the Les Mis hit on the back. We got the single stitch on the sleeve, single stitch on the bottom. Made in USA. And this t-shirt actually has significance from my childhood because of my uncle, and so he was really into a bunch of shows like this, and he had a Les Mis poster up on his wall. And I'm sure you have that like older cousin, older brother that like had some like big influence on you, and he was one of those people for me. And so seeing this graphic on the wall for years and years and years, he's had it growing up, always had a big influence. And so when I saw this one, had to cop. Great t-shirt, great printing, fits awesome on me. Looks like it was dated to 1986. So this thing's older than I am. So thanks for bearing with me through the costume change, but that's my personal policy on buying vintage tees. The latest thing I started doing is buying t-shirts with my name on them, being the narcissist that I am, the baron of big-headedness out here. I wanted to start grabbing t-shirts with Andrew on it. So as I started looking up vintage t-shirts that might have Andrew in the name, I started finding a bunch from Hurricane Andrew. And I did some research, and it was actually a really big hurricane. I was so young at the time. It happened in August of 1992, that I was actually young enough to be able to have my age described in months. So I do not remember this clearly. I was a little baby when this happened. But basically, it was the costliest hurricane to ever hit the US at the time that it happened. It was pretty bad. Happened in South Miami, in Dade County, I think it was called. And yeah, pretty bad hurricane actually. And so don't want to be insensitive or anything. Clearly there was a lot of bad stuff that happened with the hurricane and everything. Luckily they rebuilt and things are going good nowadays, but there was a lot of destruction that happened. So I don't want to be insensitive as I go about this. That being said, if they didn't want me to be wearing these t-shirts 28 years later, they shouldn't have made them so goddamn fire, baby, because oh my god, some of the graphics on these Hurricane Andrew tees are it, baby, it. Now, since it's such a random thing to buy, like Hurricane Andrew t-shirts from 1992, I'm pretty sure I'm like the only person in the world collecting these. I've since got 5 since I started doing this a few months ago, and they're awesome t-shirts. Great tags, single stitch, right in the middle of the single stitch era, and so they're really cool. I'm gonna show you them right now, and let's get to it. Oh baby, so this first one is a hitter. Look at this graphic with the fucking arm out punch. It's reminding me of fucking Trogdor from Strong Bad back in the day, but I survived Hurricane Andrew, August 24th, 1992. This is just a sweet print. We're gonna have to take a look at the tag. This was made in Ecuador, size large. One of my favorite things about this t-shirt is the fit. This is the best fitting t-shirt maybe in my entire wardrobe, honestly. And I got it for cheap because like I said, no one but me, Andrew, is collecting Hurricane Andrew t-shirts out here. But it's super cropped but wide and boxy, and is gonna fit all my summer fits with short shorts and stuff like that. Excellent. So this is gonna be the go-to. You will definitely be seeing me wearing this a lot this summer. Probably my favorite of the bunch. If you want to really know how to date vintage and stuff like that, don't listen to me. I'm new, I only collect. I'm not the guy sourcing in the bins and stuff. If you want to learn from the best, go watch videos from Thrift Lord. I will drop a link or something in the description, but I learned most of this from watching his videos. He has these long sit-down videos and they're amazing. Go follow his Instagram, follow his YouTube. It's not the most professional YouTube I've ever seen, but it's the most knowledgeable, most underrated. Like, just sit there and watch him talk for an hour and you will learn more about vintage from that than anything else out there on the internet. Like, seriously, go watch his videos if you like this and want to learn about tags and stuff like that. Next up, another banger. I mean, they're all bangers, baby. I Survived the Big One. Hurricane Andrew, August 4th, 1992. Orange Sunshine graphics. And it shows the storm front hitting South Florida and Dade County there. Really sick t-shirt. And we're gonna get the Hanes Heavyweight 50/50 tee here as well. The last t-shirt and this t-shirt, all 5 are gonna be single stitch right here. That's one of the most basic things you learn in vintage. During the era for like 80s, 90s, older t-shirts like that, it was common to have single stitch be the predominant thing you'd see out there. Nowadays, if you look at your shirt right now, there'll be 2 stitches running parallel, and that's double stitch. It's not a hard and fast rule. You have double stitch t-shirts that are old and vintage. You have single stitch t-shirts that are new. But it's a good rule of thumb. If you see an old print, an old graphic on an old tag with a single stitch, it's very likely old and vintage. And with these ones, it's right in the middle of the single stitch era. Single stitch didn't start phasing out until about like 96 from what I've researched. And so since it happened in 1992, all of the vintage ones that I've seen when I've been looking on Depop, eBay, anywhere I'm looking for Hurricane Andrew tees, these have all been single stitch, and so that's awesome. Have a lot of cool tags too, like this Hanes 50/50, and the next one as well is also going to be a banger. Let's go grab it. Boom. So now we got a blue one out here. When I got it too in person, it's actually like this silvery kind of print, almost like not reflective, but looks like it could be debatably kind of got some sparkle to it, some bling, baby. Says Humane Hospital Cypress, I survived Andrew at this location. So you can check out the graphic there, pretty sick print. And this is on one of the most notorious vintage tags of all time, the Black Screen Stars tag. If you do anything with vintage, even just collecting, you will see a lot of this tag. This is one of the most common ones from back then. And most of these tags that you'll see were from late 80s to early 90s, especially this one here, made in USA. A lot of manufacturing didn't start switching from USA to overseas until 90s, and then 2000s is where you'll see a lot of overseas ones for sure. So when you see made in USA, that's a good sign it could be vintage. Like I was saying before, you want to take all the things into account. You can't just take single stitch for granted. You can't just take the tag necessarily. But if all of the things are matching up, the print, the fade, the colors, the placement, the single stitch, that's what'll let you know if it's vintage or not. And this one is another banger right here. Look at the sick colors. Now this one is the straight up weatherman storm front out here, coming into Dade County. Andrew's Eye, it has at 4:55 a.m., 2:52 a.m. when it first hit. I Survived Hurricane Andrew in big print, and we have the beautiful silvery Juanita tag, the Power 50. That's one of the favorite tags out there. I'd say the most popular tags for vintage are going to be the Black Screen Stars I just showed you. Juanita, people love Juanita for the fit, depending on your body type. And then Giant is a super popular one, maybe the most popular. And that is a promotional type of tag that could be Giant through different types of screen printing companies, or blank companies, I should say. Anyway, sick colors, sick graphic, fits great. I love this Juanita size large. I think that's how you pronounce it. It looks like Juanita, but everyone says it like Juanita. And so really sick t-shirt, love this. Let's get going to the next one. And last but certainly not least, we got the all over print banger, baby. This one is so old and worn that the tag has completely lost its lettering and everything, so you can't even discern what type of tag it was. Does it say on the back? No. Anyway, it's got the newsprint from when it happened, so it says Hurricane, Hurricane, Hurricane. And then at the bottom you can see Andrew, 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 to please my inner narcissist there, as I was saying before. Destruction at Dawn, the Shelter Experience, the Morning After. Hits it on the back as well. This thing is sick. Single stitch, try to get it there. It's super hard to see because of the all over print, but trust your boy, it's single stitch. But this is a sick graphic. I think it's also the one I paid the most for on Depop, but luckily, like I said, all of these, no one's collecting them but your boy Andrew. I actually might need to switch like my profile name on these too from Depop, because it says my name's Andrew, so when I'm like negotiating, this guy probably knows like, oh, this is an Andrew looking for Hurricane Andrew. I should like switch the name when I'm bargaining on these so he thinks that I don't want it as bad as I do. I've got 5 so far, but looking for more. Anyways, thanks for listening through. Love you guys. See you next time. More videos to come. Maybe I'll even do one with all my vintage tees coming up soon. My collection's not that crazy, and like I said, I'm not going for just only crazy stuff because it's crazy rare or whatever, but because it relates to me. So some of these are bangers to myself, but not might be bangers to everybody. But anyway, I might show a video just to show them all off anyway. I've got a bunch since pandemic started. It's been like my new side hobby collecting these. But yeah, that's enough. Peace out, guys. You the best. Love y'all.